Hello, I'm Brian Johnson, and welcome to Better Cocktails at Home. We're here in our home bar, the Quarter Deck Club, and we are finishing our series of drinks for the month of May that all come from the Big Island of Hawaii. We were fortunate to spend 2 weeks in May on the Big Island and for on vacation. Had a great time, and so we're kind of making these drinks as sort of a little historical reference to old tourist drinks that you found all across the Big Island. So the first one was the Kamehameha Rum Punch. Then we did the Pahoehoe. Then we did the Mauna Kea Kiaha. And then this one is called the Volcano House Hot Buttered Rum. So this is a hot buttered rum from the name, and it was created at the Volcano House. So before we get into that, I'm going to do a couple little things to kind of set this drink up. So you might have deduced from this is going to be a hot drink, hot buttered rum. And so we're going to do a couple things in preparation of this. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to preheat our basically our mug, our glass that we're going to drink this drink in. And what that does is it keeps it much hotter longer, and the drink is going to cool off pretty quick if you don't preheat it. So we're going to add some water, some boiling water to this. And we're just going to let this sit. We're going to put it right over there. And so basically it's just going to keep the mug and get it up to temperature. And it's going to allow us to enjoy the drink longer at appropriate temperature. All right. The next thing we're going to do is this cocktail uses black tea. So I'm going to get some black tea steeping while we're doing some other stuff. All right, so let's turn that off. All right, so there is going to be our black tea. So we're going to let that steep while we kind of get some other stuff going here. We're going to put that off to the side now. Gosh, we have so many things off to the side already. All right, so we've got our pre-work done. Now at this point, we're going to kind of talk a little bit about the drink, where it came from, that sort of thing. Before I do that, though, I wanted to give a thanks to Beach Bum Berry and just a few of the books that he has written. All of the drinks that we made for the month of May came from these two excellent books here. This is the old version of Sip and Safari. There's a new version now. I need to get that version. But yeah, you can, if you have these, and if you can find all the recipes in there. If you don't have them, you should buy them because they are excellent. Some of the very first cocktail books I owned, and I've read them many times and referenced them many times. So thanks, Beach Bum Berry, for all of your research and hard work of digging up old recipes. So as I mentioned, Volcano House. So this is where this came from. It was created around 1950 by Bob Ida, who was the head bartender at the Volcano House. And so it's kind of a cool drink. I'm really excited about it in terms of just being able to make it on the show. So let's get started. All right, so now that we've got our mug kind of preheated a little bit, kind of be able to kind of prepare for this drink, we're going to get started with adding stuff. So we're going to dump this water. And then we're going to add, I'm going to start with sugar because I'm going to have a bunch of wet ingredients after this. So I'm going to do 3/4 of an ounce of sugar. All right, we're going to add that in. Now next up, I'm going to add our rum. So it calls for 1.5 ounces of dark Jamaican, like a Karuba or maybe like a Myers. I like Karuba a lot. If I had a Karuba, I would use it. I don't have a Karuba. It's actually hard for me to find for some reason. So I'm kind of going to do a 2-rum blend to sort of approximate that. So equal parts of Smith & Cross and equal parts with Smith & Cross and Eldorado 12-year. These are actually, some people have found there's an old Jamaican rum you can't get in called Kohala Bay. And so it's delicious. I've had the fortune of tasting it. People have said that these two mixed equal parts kind of approximates that. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to do 3/4 ounce of Smith & Cross. And then 3/4 of an ounce of the Eldorado 12-year. All right. Next up, 1/4 ounce of maraschino liqueur. It's delicious. I love this stuff. Along with that funky Jamaican-ness, we get some funk out of this. All right, and then the last of our kind of liquid ingredients is 3/4 ounce of lemon juice. All right, so all right, perfect. And we're going to add that in. All right, so I'm going to give this a stir now, just to kind of get the sugar going. And the sugar and alcohol doesn't dissolve that well, so really it's going to dissolve once we get the black tea in here. All right, so now our black tea has had time to steep. So we're going to take this out and add enough to kind of fill it as we need to. About probably, this particular glass, about 6 ounces or so. And then finally we're going to add just a little bit of butter. The recipe doesn't call for an exact amount, so if you love butter, maybe more, but I'm going to do about this little much. I don't know what that is, but not a lot. Just kind of put it right on top, and it's going to start melting. And then while that melts, we're going to do our garnish. So for the garnish, it calls for a lemon peel and some cloves. So I'm going to do this as a little tribute. And I'm going to, before I add this, I'm going to stir this drink just to kind of get some of that stuff dissolved. The butter will melt on top. Now, so I've got my lemon peel and I've got cloves. So I'm going to do 3 cloves. I'm just going to punch it through the lemon peel. And I'm doing 3 because I'm representing the 3 major volcanoes on the Big Island, so Mauna Kea, Mauna Loa, and Kīlauea. And then I'm just going to drop that in there. So that's going to give us some of that lemony oil, a little bit of spice from the clove, and that's it. That is the Volcano House Hot Buttered Rum. Let's give it a try. It's really good, like deliciously good. Traditional hot buttered rum, I'm not a huge fan of. It's, you know, generally kind of like rum, hot water, butter. The black tea, the maraschino, just adds like tons of flavor. I mean, you get a little bit of butter when you're actually like tasting it. You don't smell it or anything, but yeah, that's delicious. That's like, I like that. That's the first time I actually made this. I like it way more than I was expecting I would. I thought it looked interesting in the recipe, but I love this. Delicious. It's a little fun story. So the Volcano House, we actually visited the Volcano House. We stayed a night there. The restaurant really wasn't open in full capacity due to COVID. And so they weren't serving drinks or that kind of stuff, although I'm guessing if they were serving drinks, they weren't going to be serving anything like this. But actually I thought, when I first kind of was planning this cocktail out, I'm like, why would you have a hot buttered rum in Hawaii? That's just like, doesn't really make, at the time I was like, that's kind of weird. Just seemed odd. Why would I go to Hawaii and want a hot buttered rum? But as we were visiting, as I learned, and part of visiting, Kīlauea is around 4,000 feet. When we were there, the temperatures were in like kind of the mid 60s. It was raining most of the time. Just kind of overcast most of the time we were there. We weren't there a long time. But I could totally see where you're kind of like wet, it's windy, it's 60 degrees out. I could totally see you coming into the Volcano House, ordering one of these and just sitting back. So it made total sense once I was there and I could experience it. But yeah, just a really cool place. And it's really interesting in the Volcano House. They actually have an old steam room there where they'd actually pipe in steam from Kīlauea into the hotel so people could basically bathe in it and take steam showers and all that kind of stuff. And so that part was really awesome. But that doesn't work anymore because the geology of the area shifted and closed the steam vent. So it was a really cool experience. I really had a great time there. I love this cocktail. If you can't visit it in person, and I think making this would definitely kind of put you there and just think kind of a little bit chilly, 60s, windy, rain, rainforest parts of it, totally dry in the lava parts. But yeah, it's a cool drink. So that's the Volcano House Hot Buttered Rum. And thanks so much for watching Better Cocktails at Home, and we're going to see you next time.